Hey, welcome back, YouTubers. Today we're going to be installing the Smart Brake Module on the 2021 Ninja1000sx. This is made by, I believe it's ST2 or STS Smart Turn Systems. They make the self-canceling turn signals as well. We're going to install this on the new bike. What this does is it blinks your brake lights when you're decelerating using your engine braking. Just an added safety feature, so if you're not hitting the brakes, the people behind you kind of gives them more notice that you're actually slowing down, because you know these sport bikes can slow down really quick just on engine power. So let's open her up and get to it. So to start out, we're going to need to remove our seats. I've already taken the back one off. You know how that works. You put the key under it, turn the key, pop the passenger pad off. To get the driver's pad off, you need to take these two Allen bolts out, and that is a 6mm Allen wrench. So I'm going to get them out, get the seat off. Once you get those bolts out, I'll just throw them up here and we'll slide it back and pull the seat off. So STS is kind enough to provide you with a wiring breakdown based on your bike. You see they've got them listed for Yamaha, Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Triumph, BMW, Aprilia, and Moto Guzzi. We're doing the Kawasaki. There's only 3 wires you need to deal with. We're looking for the red, and then either a gray, green, or blue wire, and a black-yellow wire. The black-yellow is ground, red is power, and the gray is your signal light. You look over here. Hopefully you can see that. For the module. These are the module wiring. And then this is what you can find on your bike based on the column your bike is in. So we're going to look for those wires somewhere under here. Hopefully it won't be too hard to find. I see a black and yellow standing right out at me. But it's going to be in probably one of these harnesses here. Most likely one of these. Another accessory harness here. Plug, outlet. But let me take a look at these and we'll figure out what's going on and be right back. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to remove the passenger handrails off and this plastic piece. So when you pull these 4mm bolts out, make sure you don't lose the plastic washers that go under them. And when you tighten them back up, make sure you don't smash it. You just tighten them nice and firm. Don't over crush them. So you've already removed your 2 bolts to get your seat off. Set them over here. We're going to remove the handrails. Then this plastic shroud, and then we'll take these 4 bolts off under the toolkit so that the rear fender can drop down a little bit so we can get to the wiring in here, because there's just no room to work on the wiring there, and I'm not sure where it's coming out down here. So just to be safe, we're just going to lower it down, take a look, and see the best options for wiring this up. I kind of already determined I'm going to sit it here on top of the battery because it has to point forward and it has to be level. I'll flip mine over, because when you flip it over, that gives you the blinking brake light. Otherwise, if you leave it up, it just turns the brake light on when you decel. So make sure you know that and figure out how you want to do it. I may even put a wire or a zip tie around this bracket here just to hold it in place. But I have some double stick tape I can pop on the battery. And when I got to replace the battery, I'll just pop it off and put a new piece of tape on and stick it back down. But this is the most level place I could find where they put the battery back, basically. And it should sit on there fine, and the seat should go on without a problem. So I'm going to take these 4 bolts off. Take these are 6mm bolts. There's one here, and the other one, they are here. And then once you loosen them, you can get this off and out of the way. So I'll be back to show you that in a sec. Alright, so when you're taking these handrails off, just be careful, because they're metal, they are heavy, and they're going to be tight. But I've already loosened this bolt some, and again, they're 6mm Allens. Once you get them out, get them loose, you want to hold on to them or they'll fall, they'll drop. And don't lose your washers and your bolts. Setting mine up top for now. And then go for this top one here. Just make sure you got a hand on it. Because, like I said, it will just drop and come right off. That's it. Now you got your handrails off. I've already taken the 4 mil bolts out of the black plastic shroud on the back here. And they should just spread apart and slide back a little and pop off. Put it somewhere safe. You're not going to step on it or scratch it up. And make note, when you pull that off, there's a little rubber like grommet that fits in these little holes in the tail light. Make sure you put that back in. It's like an isolator, a dampener for vibration. And there's nubs on that tail piece that sit in these. So make sure you don't lose that when you pull it off, because it will pop out. Okay, now I just need to get the toolkit out of the way. Take these 4 mil bolts out, and there's 2 under it. And then this plastic section should just drop down. So I'll be back in a second when I get to the last screw. One more quick note. Got the 2 bottom screws out. These are 5 mils. So you're going to need a 4, 5, and 6 mil Allen wrench of some type to get all these bolts out. I'm going to take these 2 out. I may as well just keep filming. Notice as I get it loose, it starts to come down. Okay. Now I believe you do have to slide this section back a little or they pop out. And if you can see here, turn the camera a little bit. Come around the other side, might be a little more light. There we go. This should pop out. Should be something holding it. Everything else is loose. Now we'll slide down a little bit. Now I left my, I can't see, the little rubber band for the toolkit in here, and it's kind of holding this from flopping down. But now I've got access to these wires, so I should be able to get in there enough to put my connectors on. They give you some crimp connectors that go on, and then you just plug the spade connectors from your wiring harness into it. So let me get those out of the bag. I'll probably have to cut this plastic insulation a little bit, and then we'll just put a piece of tape around it to seal it back up. Actually, once we get all those spade connectors on, there's probably not going to be room for it because it is tight in there. Hopefully I can run my wire up through this side underneath this, so when this all goes back up, the wire is underneath of this and out of the way of everything. That's the plan anyway. So let me get started on that and I'll be back. So to make this a little easier, I'm going to unhook this connector from the tail light into this wiring harness here. And I'm just checking in. Actually, we may be able to just splice on this side. So I got to figure out how I want to do that. This connector It looks like you just push this little tab in here. I don't know if you can see it. I can find my hand through the camera. Right here, there's a little tab on the end. Push down on that and pull it out. I don't know if I can do this with one hand or not. Nope, I'm gonna have to sit the camera down. There it goes. So yeah, just push down on that plastic tab there and these connectors will come apart. And that is your wire to your tail light. So technically we could just trace it back here and wire it down in here. The colors change. You go from red, blue, and black, yellow to black, yellow, blue, and it looks like maybe blue with a red stripe. So I'm guessing the blue with the red stripe is your positive. The blue, I'm colorblind, guys, so forgive me if I'm getting this wrong. It looks, I don't see any colors on the other side. Maybe that other one's blue. It looks blue with a red stripe. So I'm assuming this one is the positive. That's your ground, and the middle one's probably your signal wire. So we may be able to wire it up down here. I can push it down far enough to figure out where it's going. And if we can get to the connector, looks like it's come from this side. It might be easier. It goes through here, and there's just a lot of stuff in the way here. That's why it might be easier just to do it under the seat. And you get into a big wiring harness mess down here. And I think we're going to stick with the game plan. Probably tied in on this side though. Maybe a little farther down. So it's, if I have for some reason have to replace the tail light, my connections to my safety switch aren't with the tail light. They're with the actual wiring harness. So we'll plug it into this. We'll just figure out which wire goes to which to this one and make our connections. But we know each one's going to need a terminal on it. So we're going to take these terminals. They came with the kit. They give you some zip ties and some terminals, and they're the kind that just clamp down over the wire and give you a place, you know, your spade terminal connects in once you clamp them down, and you just clamp them down with a pair of pliers. And you're probably going to want to space them out 1, 2, 3 along your wire loom so that they're not in the way of each other. Once I get them on, I'll show you a picture of how I did it. And I'm going to give you a look at these little cable splicers that they send with the kit. Hopefully there's enough light you can see them. They just basically, let's set the camera down here. They clamp over the wire. You slide your wire in this little slot here, and then clamp this over it. You can probably push it down with your fingers, but I took a pair of pliers and just squeezed it to make a good connection. Oh, they got some spring to them, so be careful. But what you want to, reason I'm showing you this is, you see this little slot in the middle. That's where your metal spade is going to connect on this end. So when you clamp down, you want to orient them the way you want to plug your spades in. And I'll show you what I mean. I put the first one on here, and I pointed mine that way so that the spades can come in from this side and just plug into that little slot. So that's what you want. Looks like I need to squeeze that a little more. But I'll put the pliers on it and hit it, because it looks like this should come over that and snap on. Oh, maybe not. It just goes right to the edge. There's a little hook there, if you can see it on the very edge. So as long as it goes over and clamps, you should be good. It's not supposed to cut the wire. It just slices through the insulation and touches the wire. So let me finish the other two and we'll be back. Okay, so here's what I ended up with. Got all my terminals on. Put this back in the wire hook over here just to keep the tension up. I snaked my wire through, hopefully you can see it, inside of that bracket down here. You can see that. Brought it around here so it's not in the way when I screw this back into this section. It's in front of where these 4 bolt holes are for the fender itself. There's another wire going through a hook down here. I almost had enough room. I could have popped it under there to hold it in place, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. So we're going to go with that. As long as everything's tucked in out of the way, I think we're good to go. I might even put a piece of plastic wire loom on here like we did for the USB power outlet install video. But it should be fine. Again, this isn't part of your main brake light connection. That's still intact. We just tapped into it. So I'm going to get the key. We're going to turn on, make sure all the lights work. Actually, the keys are in it. Let's see what we got. I can't see back there. Use the foot brake. All right, brake lights still work. So I did something right. How about blinkers? Left turn. Yep, that's working. Right. Yep, good to go. So all we got to do now is test it. Put everything back together the way you took it apart. I'm going to have my wife shoot a video of me driving down the hill out in front of our house, and then I'll let the engine brake and we'll see if it works. I'm going to put, like I said, I found some 3M double stick tape. We're going to mount this face down on top of the battery, just like so. I'll probably get a little cleaner or something to wipe on both sides of it before I put the tape on so it sticks good. But I want mine to blink when I let off. And the more attention you get from motorists, the better, because cages just don't pay attention to guys on bikes. So I'm going to clean that up, just wipe it off with some grease remover, put my double stick tape on, plop the box down. If I can, I'll put a zip tie around it. I don't know how I'm going to do that though, but it's pretty stable in there the way we did the cabling routing. So I think we just need a piece of that double stick tape to keep the thing from sliding around on us. But it is level. You can see that once we're up on the bike, it will be level. And I'll push it back a little just to make sure it doesn't interfere with putting the seat back on. I don't think it will though. But we'll take a shot once we get it all back together. Be right back. Alright, so quick update. I did move the module back like a ½ inch. It's hanging off the battery a little bit. I don't know if you can see it there, but I got the 3M double stick tape on. It's not going anywhere because it was kind of interfering with the seat sitting down flat. It's good now though, and it's got a safe level place to sit. So we should be good to go. Now I just got to wait for my wife to get home to test it. We'll be back. Alright, we're going to take a quick spin to see if the brake lights work. I've enlisted the aid of my beautiful wife, Dirty Jen. She's going to film me. I'm going to ride up the road and come back and see if the brake lights blink. So hang tight.